So it's been dreadfully windy and grey here in Wellington today, so what better time to make a nice summery bucket hat? But in all fairness, it has been an uncharacteristically beautiful summer here so far, and I think I need to make the most of it. And what better summer accessory to make than a crocheted bucket hat? So I did some Pinterest research and some sketches and chose the one I thought would work best and also be the simplest to make. I settled on the first one I drew, which has flower granny squares along the band around the head and then circular crochet stitches for the top of the head and the brim. I know I'm super late to the bucket hat trend. I haven't owned a bucket hat since I was in high school, and that bucket hat was the super unflattering type that comes as part of the school uniform. Picture a royal blue hat with a massive school crest embroidered on the front. I have to say those definitely put me off the idea of bucket hats, and I was not a fan of the trend when it first surfaced. I'm honestly still kind of on the fence with some of them, but I can definitely get behind the fun and colourful crocheted bucket hats that I see people make, and I think it's finally time to try one for myself. I have no idea if I even suit one, but I guess we're gonna find out. I had this leftover yarn from a mesh top I made a little while ago. I don't think all of these colours go together perfectly, but I think they work well enough as a whole. Blues and greens are my favourite colours, and I've always loved combining them together. The yarn I'm using is a cotton yarn that's actually intended for amigurumi, so it has a little bit more structure compared with regular cotton yarn. The brand is Circulo Amigurumi 8-ply cotton yarn if you're wanting to find some for yourself. I personally really like it, and it comes in a lot of gorgeous bright colours, which I can't easily find anywhere else. I used this with a 4mm hook, which is the maximum recommended hook size for this yarn. I started off by making one square and then measuring it and comparing it to my head measurement. By some absolute miracle, it was the perfect size. My head measurement is 56 centimeters around and the square is 8 centimeters across. And then another stroke of luck was that meant I would need 7 squares, and I have 7 colors. So I could use each color once in each of the rounds so they were evenly spaced around the hat, which I think really made a difference. I honestly think I've used up all my crafting luck this year in this one project. Once I had all the squares, I stitched them all together. I did them in single crochet through the back loop. It makes quite a visible seam, but I honestly quite like that look. I did a whole outfit in that style a couple of years ago, and I think it adds a lot of fun texture to the piece. Then I started on the top of the hat. I wanted to try and add some interest through using different stitches instead of just using double crochets. It took a bit of trial and error to get the increases right. I wanted it to have a little bit of a dome to it instead of being completely flat, so I did have to undo and redo some of the rows a couple times to get it looking how I wanted, but I think it worked out really well in the end. Another stroke of complete luck. I also ended up with the exact same amount of stitches as were in the squares at the point when it was the exact right size. So I wish I could say I had planned it that way, but honestly it was a complete fluke. So attaching the top of the hat to the band was a breeze since I didn't have to do any like wacky things with decreasing or increasing the stitches to fit. Yeah, like I said, I have used up all my luck on this project. I did, however, get tripped up when I tried to attach it by the same method of single crocheting the pieces together. It ended up giving it a weird shape, so I frogged that and then sewed the pieces together with a needle, and it looked so much better. And then I started on the brim, and then I frogged the brim, and then I started on the brim again, and then frogged the brim again. Turns out, third time's the charm. It really was true with this one because we finally got it right on the third go. It still wasn't perfect at this point, but it was good enough to keep for now. I was trying to divide the increases to fit within the 7 granny squares so I could avoid having to count, because I'm not good at that, and I think a lot of crocheters can relate, but it really would have worked better if I had just done, say, like 10 increases around the hat instead of trying to divide them by the 7 of the squares. I still think it worked out fine, but it definitely could use some improvement if I decided to make another one. And we're finally done. Let me weave in the ends, give it a quick steam block, and let's test it out on its first run at the beach. Overall, I'm so happy with this hat. I think it turned out so cute. It's a touch too big, so I really have to hold on to it in the wind. I tried to combat that with adding a row of single crochets to the inside of the brim, which did help a little bit, but I think I might need to add a little bit of like elastic for security. I don't think I'll be adding bucket hats to my everyday outfits, but all in all, I think this is such a cute accessory to have for beach days and picnics in the sun. But that's about all for me today. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more crochet and knitting content. I also have a Kofi page where you can buy me a coffee if you feel like going the extra mile to support me, but no pressure. But yeah, that's all from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!